Florence, Lucca, and Pisa. I thought I knew exactly what to expect. Crowds, clichés, and the same photos everyone takes. But after 4 days of exploring these cities, my perspective completely changed. From unexpected jams to unforgettable local food and drinks, here's how to experience Tuscany's classics like never before. Let's go! We rented a car in Rome and drove through the rolling hills of the Tuscan countryside, with Florence as our first destination. If you're in Florence, you cannot miss Piazzale Michelangelo, a lookout spot. Yes, it gets crowded with tourists, but the view is definitely worth it. From here, you get one of the most spectacular panoramas of the city, stretching across the Arno River and the Duomo and Palazzo Vecchio, towering above the rooftops. At the center, you'll find a bronze replica of Michelangelo's David. But don't worry, I'll show you the real one later, so keep watching. This lookout is especially magical at sunset when the city glows golden. There are both free and paid parking options nearby, but spaces fill up pretty quickly during peak hours. So if you're driving, do a little planning ahead to avoid the stress and make the most of your visit.
No illegal parking.
By the time we checked into the hotel, it was already close to 6 p.m. We took a quick break with some Prosecco, then we headed out for a walk to the historic center for dinner. It only took about 10 minutes to walk there. Florence is the birthplace of the Renaissance, and the architecture makes that legacy come alive more than anywhere else in the world. Unlike medieval towns, the city feels brighter, fresher, and full of color. We'll dive deeper into its treasures later, but first, let's find something to eat.
Let's go find some food. We have no plans tonight, which is uncharacteristic.
We chose Osteria Antica, Casa Torre, because we wanted to experience authentic Tuscan dishes. The weather was perfect, so we sat outside in the charming Piazza San Pier Maggiore, where the atmosphere was lively yet relaxing. The spaghetti alle vongole was exactly what I had been craving, perfectly al dente, with fresh clams in a savory sauce. The beet gnocchi was something new to us, but it was a standout,
It's good, it's very unique.
earthy and colorful, with a balance that felt both indulgent and wholesome.
Sausage. I didn't know what I was expecting. I picked it because it seemed kind of weird.
But the real highlight of the meal was the grilled prawns. They were big and succulent with a smoky charcoal flavor that lingered with every bite.
That's a really, legit prawn. Look at the size of the prawn.
We paired everything with their house wine, which complemented the meal beautifully, and finished with a classic tiramisu, which was rich, creamy, and perfectly
This is
soft.
actually our first tiramisu.
The dinner was a huge success. After dinner, we headed to Locale Firenze, ranked 36th on the world's 50 best bars list. This spot actually came recommended by Michelangelo, not the artist, but the bartender we met at a bar in Rome. Huge thanks to him for the tip. Housed in the 13th century Palazzo Concini, the architecture alone makes it worth visiting. Vaulted ceilings, elegant decor, and centuries of history set the stage for one of the Florence's most stylish bar experiences.
This bar is so incredibly luxurious, and it's so humble looking on the outside. And you come in, and there's a soaring ceiling with all this incredible greenery, and it's like real plants. These aren't fake. Look at, you can see the soil.
Oh my god, these are real.
It's real.
The menu blends creative cuisine with novel cocktails.
All right, cheers.
I tried a miso and coffee creation served in a tall, skinny glass. It was one of the most unique and surprisingly delicious drinks I've ever had. The locally grown pickled vegetables were so good, we kept asking for more.
It's got cucumber. This one looks like it has some red pepper, fennel, some carrots. It's really quite spectacular.
We were very lucky because manager Alexandro gave us a private tour of the underground floor, where we discovered ancient chambers and luxurious private dining spaces. It truly felt like stepping back into 1200s Florence. This place is seriously quite amazing. Part living museum, part luxurious party room. You need to call them to make a reservation for these private event rooms. I don't even know how much it would cost.
This one is the original wine cellar. So as you feel here, the temperature is the same fresh.
We had so much fun that night. We left deeply impressed by the venue, the hospitality, and the unforgettable experience. Locale Firenze is an absolute must for cocktail lovers. The night wrapped with a walk through glowing streets of Florence. The Duomo lit up against the dark sky was just breathtaking, and we could not wait to explore it properly the next day. Good morning, Florence. It's time to climb up to the top of the Duomo. We had booked our tickets for 10:30 a.m. well in advance, and when you arrive on time, the entry process is seamless. The area was already buzzing, so mornings are definitely the best time to visit the Duomo. The cathedral itself is massive. It can hold up to 20,000 people, making it one of the largest churches in Europe. To reach the top, you need to climb exactly 463 narrow steps. Guess what? David counted them on the way up. There's no elevator, so yes, it's a workout, but one that's absolutely worth it. Along the way, you pass right beneath Giorgio Vasari's enormous fresco, The Last Judgment, which is painted inside the dome. After Vasari's death, his student, Federico Zuccari, carried it to the finish, which took a total of 11 years to complete. The sheer scale and detail are absolutely jaw-dropping.
Right there, yeah.
Constructed between 1420 and 1436, the Duomo was the largest dome in the world at the time. And to this day, it remains the largest brick dome ever built. As you climb, you get to see outside through small windows with stunning views of Florence, teasing what's waiting at the top. And then, finally, you step out onto the Lantern Terrace. A full panoramic of Florence spread beneath you. The rooftops, the Arno River, and the Tuscan hills in the distance. It's just breathtaking. From up here, the city feels both walkable and vast at the same time. Coming down is faster, but those narrow steps test your balance.
This is gonna be fun.
In the end, the climb leaves you feel impressed not only of the views, but of the sheer strength and engineering of this 600 years old masterpiece.
Definitely worth it. Highly recommend, but you have to make a reservation because we arrived here at 10:30 and everything was already sold out.
You kind of get to see the inside of the cathedral with that ticket, which meant that we didn't have to stand in a line that looked hours long.
Oh yeah.
There's so much to see in the historic center, which has been a UNESCO World Heritage Site since 1982. The streets are filled with shops, restaurants, bars, lively street performers, and many more. It is the perfect place to wander and soak in the atmosphere. In the heart of the city lies Piazza della Repubblica, the main square lined with elegant cafes and restaurants, and home to a charming old-fashioned merry-go-round. We stopped at Caffè Gilli for coffee and sherbet while enjoying the view of the carousel spinning in front of us. Caffè Gilli is actually the oldest bar in Florence, founded by the Swiss Gilli family in 1733. What a historic sight.
This is really tasty.
We made our way to Ponte Vecchio, the famous medieval arched bridge, with roots tracking back to Roman times.
Really pretty, and also known as where all the jewelry and gold shops are.
Today, it's lined with goldsmiths, jewelers, and souvenir shops, making it as much a marketplace as a crossing. Built in 1345, it's the oldest surviving bridge across the Arno River today. The views from the bridge were stunning. Blue skies, drifting clouds, and historic buildings reflecting on the river. It is one of the most romantic spots in Florence. I hope you're enjoying Florence. If so, smash that like button and tell me your favorite part about it in the comments. Your engagement really helps the channel grow and allows us to bring you even more exciting travel content. After visiting the bridge, we made the mistake of stopping by a few of our favorite shops. Let's say that the complimentary bottle of Prosecco didn't really help our self-control. By the time we walked out, we were carrying jackets, shirts, and a few other unexpected items. But honestly, this is part of the charm. Florence is an incredible city for shopping, whether you are after small souvenirs, local craftsmanship, or luxury designer fashion. We came back to our hotel to unwind by the pool at the Four Seasons Florence. Stretching out on the plush sun loungers with the garden views was the perfect way to recharge. By the way, the Four Seasons Florence is easily one of the most luxurious hotels we've ever stayed in. Absolutely stunning.
Cheers.
Be sure to check out our full video on the Four Seasons Florence. It will blow you away. After recharging by the pool, we headed out for dinner at Antico Ristoro di Cambi. Established in the 1950s, this trattoria is beloved for its authentic Tuscan cooking, and especially its signature dish, the Florentine steak. We began with Cantabrian anchovies on toasted bread. It was savory and perfectly balanced by the crunch of the toast. The handmade pappardelle with wild boar ragu was rich and delicious. Easily one of my favorite Italian dishes. Then came to the highlight of the evening, the Florentine steak. Prepared from prized chinina beef, and it's cooked rare over a wood fire. It arrives with a beautifully seared crust and a deep red interior. David absolutely loved it. For me, the core felt a little colder and a little too rare than expected. That said, in Florence, this is tradition. The Florentine steak is almost always served rare, and the servers will typically not ask how you want it cooked.
I wish I could save all of that and eat every piece of meat.
This is my first time trying the Florentine steak. As you can see here, it's a little rare. This is not what I'm used to, so I can't have a lot of it, but this is a very good experience. I will definitely have it again, but I personally prefer it to be cooked a little bit more.
The entire meal was delightful, and I would still recommend trying it as part of the full Florentine experience. To walk it off, we strolled by the Arno River afterwards.
So nice to walk here.
It really is.
The reflections of the city lights shimmering on the water made for a beautiful close to a memorable evening. But our night wasn't quite over just yet. After a delightful 15-minute walk by the river, we arrived at Bar Giacosa 1815. This is the birthplace of the Negroni. The Negroni was actually invented here at this bar in 1919. The cocktail menu at Giacosa is both innovative and respectful of tradition. The Nitro Negroni comes with a sweet pairing, giving a modern twist to the classic.
Oh my god, it's super potent.
The Bloody Negroni was the most intriguing of all. Crafted with white chocolate, white tomato, and even a dusting of kimchi powder. How creative.
This is dried and powdered kimchi for flavor.
That's amazing.
It is clear they are committed to pushing the boundaries of mixology while honoring their heritage. We even picked up some chocolates and red Negroni cookies, both unique and absolutely delicious. The bartender, who I think was the manager, shared fascinating insights into the history and preparation of their signature cocktails. This personal touch elevated the entire experience, giving us a deep appreciation of the artistry behind every drink. He even offered a Negroni-soaked dessert. It was bold and bittersweet, especially perfect for somebody like me who loves that flavor profile.
It was a pleasure. Thank
For
you.
cocktail lovers and history fans, Giacosa 1815 is an absolute must when visiting Florence. It was finally the day to visit Lucca and Pisa. The drive was pleasant, and in just about an hour and 10 minutes, we arrived at Lucca. Lucca feels like a hidden gem compared to its most famous neighbors like Florence, Pisa, or Siena. My first impression was the relaxed atmosphere, beautiful buildings, and the charming piazzas. Lucca's walls were transformed into a green belt. Today, you can walk, bike, or even picnic along the 2.5-mile stretch of walls that circle the city. We arrived in the morning before the crowds, which gave us the perfect chance to wander the cobblestone streets, admire the historic buildings, and enjoy a quiet coffee in town.
How's the espresso?
It's really good. Cheers.
The winding streets eventually opened up to one of Lucca's highlights, Piazza dell'Anfiteatro, a lively square built in the oval shape of an ancient Roman amphitheater. Look at this. This is really beautiful. Although we didn't have much time, Lucca left a big impression. It's the kind of city I'd love to return, rent a bike, and explore more at a slower pace. We then drove to Pisa, which took only about 20 minutes from Lucca. Pisa is one of the most famous cities in Tuscany thanks to its iconic Leaning Tower, but there's so much more here than just one landmark. Walking into Piazza dei Miracoli, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, you're immediately surrounded by the city's most important monuments. There's the Baptistry of St. John, the largest baptistry in Italy, known for its incredible acoustics. The Pisa Cathedral, a Romanesque masterpiece from the 11th century. The Camposanto Monumentale, a monumental cemetery with deep history. And finally, of course, the world-famous Leaning Tower of Pisa. Tickets sell out quickly, so we reserved a time slot well in advance. Just a heads up, no bags or purses are allowed, but there are free lockers nearby.
It is leaning 4 degrees, but it looks like it's leaning way more than that.
It's a lot prettier in person than it is in pictures. Like the stone facade is much more luxurious looking.
Yeah.
Galileo Galilei was born here in Pisa in 1564. He's the one who tested his theory of gravity by dropping spheres from the very top of this tower. How cool is that? Once at the top, the panoramic views of Pisa and the surrounding Tuscan landscape are truly stunning. Up here, you will also see the tower's 5 large bells and 2 small ones, but they're no longer in use as the vibration could destabilize the structure over time.
You can't really see because of the reflection.
Beyond the tower, Pisa has a vibrant energy. We wandered to Piazza dei Cavalieri, once the city's political center, and now home to the public university. From here, we strolled along Pisa's iconic shopping street and also passed by local markets and even museums. It was so lovely to explore Pisa for a while. We had a late lunch at Brenzo, a contemporary seafood restaurant in Pisa. We started with octopus, which was incredibly tender and packed with flavor. For mains, David and I shared a seafood pasta and a grilled seafood platter with scallops, prawns, and squid.
We ordered way too much food.
And by the end, we were completely full and happy. After lunch, we wandered around Pisa, grabbed coffee, and did a little window shopping. Catching glimpses of the Leaning Tower from different angles was surreal. I know you might be thinking Pisa is just a tourist trap, but it's worth visiting at least once, not only to see the Leaning Tower, but also to experience the history and everything else the city has to offer. After enjoying Lucca and Pisa, we returned to Florence for dinner at Il Palagio, a Michelin-starred restaurant at the Four Seasons Hotel. Having been underwhelmed by some Michelin meals in the past, I approached this one with cautious optimism, but Il Palagio exceeded every expectation. Although it was a 6-course meal, the chef surprised us with multiple small appetizers, so it felt closer to 9 or 10 courses. From the delicate amberjack fish to the perfectly cooked lamb, every plate was meticulously prepared, beautifully presented, and most importantly, absolutely delicious. Unlike other Michelin experiences that sometimes prioritize artistry over flavor, here every dish was both refined and deeply satisfying. It was first Michelin star dining experience that delivered on all fronts.
Okay, it took us 3 hours to finish everything here. Wow, it was an amazing experience, an A+. I gotta be honest, I'm not a Michelin restaurant type of guy, but this one is my favorite. I really enjoyed every single dish and highly recommend.
After dinner, we swung by the Atrium bar, located just next door. Once an open courtyard, it is now enclosed by a soaring glass roof, creating a grand yet inviting space. The bar offers a menu of newly crafted signature cocktails alongside timeless classics. It is an unforgettable setting to wrap up the night, surrounded by elegant decor and exceptional service. And if you want a closer look at the full experience, check out our separate video on the Four Seasons Florence. We saved one of Florence's absolute highlights for last, Michelangelo's David at the Galleria dell'Accademia. Our tickets were for the 8:30 entry, which we booked a couple of months in advance as they tend to sell out really quickly.
It's so humble here. Look, it's just a building.
So many of them are just buildings though, and then you go inside and they're very much not humble.
Yeah, when you go inside, it's like, oh my god, that's what we saw in textbooks.
Walking through the gallery, you see 4 of Michelangelo's unfinished sculptures, known as the prisoners, lining the hall. This makes the first glimpse of David at the end even more dramatic. Oh my gosh, the moment I saw the statue was just indescribable. The feeling of standing before such a masterpiece is beyond anything words can describe. And when I was getting closer to the statue, I realized that it was more than just a masterpiece. It was transcendent. The statue of David was larger than I had imagined, over 17 feet tall and truly breathtaking. A Renaissance masterpiece that has come to symbolize human genius, beauty, and Florence itself. The realism is astonishing. Interestingly, he did not pay a lot of attention to the back of the statue, which is far less detailed than the front. David was moved here in 1873 to protect it from damage outdoors. Considering it weighs over 6 tons, it is incredible to think how difficult that move must have been. And while David is the star, the Accademia has more to explore, including works by other artists. From paintings, sculptures, to an impressive collection of historic musical instruments. This is a once-in-a-lifetime experience that absolutely deserves a place on your bucket list. Oh my gosh, I still get chills just thinking about it.
This is absolutely spectacular.
I hope this video inspired you to visit Florence and the other incredible cities in Tuscany. Be sure to check out our other Italy videos. They might just change the way you think about traveling through this amazing country. Stay healthy, happy, and I'll see you in the next adventure. Bye for now.
This is so funny.